Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United agenda. We're extremely disappointed and upset this evening. I'm very cross. Yabba, I think you'll probably feel the same.
I'm furious, just gutted. You know, we're Man United Football Club. We've seen finals in the past where we've managed to turn it around and actually score goals late and push for things. And there's so many things that I'm just disappointed with. It's instant reaction, and that's usually I need some time to calm myself down. But at the moment, I'm really, really upset. I could cry. That's how I feel. I don't take it that deep, but I'm really upset. It's upset me to lose to Spurs, to lose the way we did. We didn't go out like we went out like cowards in a way. That's
Yeah.
If you want to lose, you want to go down and say, "Oh, we gave it our best shot."
We go out on your shield.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that we lost 1-0, we didn't score a goal. Even like we were just talking backstage just seconds ago about the issue with the goal. You named 6-7 players that at fault. There was a lot of people at fault, and this is the whole thing throughout the whole season. All the goals we concede, there's always some stupid error that we can point out. But look, congratulations to Spurs and their fan base. I mean, they're going to be buzzing right now. But as Man United fans, we're just down in the dumps, and this is just like the worst thing that we could feel right now.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
We're live, Dora.
Oh, you're guys live. When? Since when?
Since
my
7 o'clock. Don't worry about it.
How are you feeling at bath time?
I'm really, really upset about the game. I didn't. I felt right. There was a moment in the first half, and it was where Ahmad pulled back Udogie, and the belief like drained out of me. Like Spurs were there for the taking, in my opinion. There was no quality tonight. That like we had so much of the ball, and there was absolutely no quality. And I'm sick to death of this team. And at the moment, every single player in the team. If we're going down the route digging out players, I think Bruno was really poor for the majority of the game. I think that Luke Shaw was dreadful. He was rusty. Like his passing was off. Like I expect. The thing is, Yabba, is he's one of the few players with quality, and he didn't put anything into the box, and that was what was disappointing. Yeah, I know, but he's one of our most experienced players, and he's got quality, and I expect more from him because of the amount of ball that we had. I felt like Ahmad, like I was devastated with him in the second half, to be honest. Dreadful. All of them were crap. I thought Yoro was all right, to be honest. At least he was trying to do something, but all in all, they're not good enough at football. The lot of them. We had enough of the ball to kill Spurs. Rasmus, man, that header from Rasmus. I mean, what? I don't know. Right, Dora, off you go.
Pathetic. I was more heartbroken when we lost to Villarreal because I wanted Ole to win something with us, and I felt like 3 semis, and and afterwards Europa League final we lost. I expected something from that season. We lost that because the players were scared. They were flabbergasted with the way Villarreal set up, and now we are seeing the same thing with Ruben Amorim and this Manchester United squad. As you guys, I echo everything you said about the players. I expect to see the back of Shaw, honestly, sooner rather than later. I don't care, Yaba. You can. He's shocking. He's shockingly bad, and I think Lindelof should have started today because at least he was match fit. This guy he started 2 games for us in the league. He obviously looked like he was rusty. I mean, we said it on this stream multiple times. And I blame Amorim because he played Spurs 3 times this season, and he still doesn't know how to play against them. Spurs were shocking. I don't even know. I don't even think they even shot on target. They didn't even had a shot on target. But of course, Onana and Shaw gifted them that goal as usual. And afterwards, you expect them to play, to be more assertive, to be more, to want that goal. But no, poor crosses, poor passing, poor movement, poor everything. And I think this was in the end, I would say, deserving win for Spurs, even though they were shocking. But of course, with the way United today performed and the way they reacted after that goal was absolutely shocking. I don't know what Amorim is saying to them in the locker room. The way he prepped for his game is fucking shocking, and I need to say it because, like, what did we create today? We had chances, we had some chances, right? But what did we do with it? Absolutely nothing as usual. So I'm digging out the players, but I'm digging out this freaking manager. And I expect him to be backed. I hope Sir Ratcliffe is going to back him. And after 10 games, I'm expecting results. If he doesn't perform, he can go as the half of this squad because honestly, I'm done. Like, I'm done, feeling, this, just excuses. Like, this was today, this was just
Dora, I have to
ugly,
interrupt you.
pathetic, and disgusting. And this is my end of rant. I don't know what to say anymore.
I have to interrupt you because Ajmal has been very kind and given us $7 Canadian, saying sack that stupid coach now. I've been showing you comments on screen. If any of you want to join to say anything, like you can join because I'm not sure how long my guest this evening will be up for staying. I do want to talk about the manager because first of all, I think that you should get stuck into the players that are on the pitch, and then secondly, you should deal with the manager. I am really unimpressed with Ruben Amorim tonight. Not really sort of making any changes, not trying to affect the game. We would like. I know that Mount kind of started doing stuff for a couple of minutes in the second half, but I felt that he should have been off for Garnacho much sooner. And Xerxes, I felt contributed far more to the match than Rasmus did. Obviously, you're not going to get goals from Xerxes, but you're going to get a couple of passes and maybe some link up, and you'll get an FO out of Rasmus. So, I mean, maybe Yabba, it's because some players could only play a certain amount of minutes, but we're trying to get extra time, I suppose. So, talk to me about the manager because I know Mr. B is pretty furious with him.
So, look, we've just lost. I don't want to be too sort of negative about the manager. I want him to continue. Like Dora said, we have to see what happens next season and with the summer. He's come in during the season. He's changed the formation. He's changed the system. He's brought in his own player in Dorgu. And the whole style of play is completely different. And it's taken some adjusting. And during that adjustment stage, we've really underperformed in the league. And then we've got ourselves to a final. And then we just didn't turn up today. I don't think you can blame the manager so much. The only thing I was a bit frustrated with, I felt he needed to make changes a bit earlier. I would have started Garnacho because he's someone who does really put you on the back foot. If I'm a Tottenham defender, I wouldn't want Garnacho. I'd rather have Garnacho. I'd rather have Mount than Garnacho on the pitch. Do you see what I'm saying? Because Garnacho always seems to be buzzing, running at people, a threat, and puts you on the back foot. So I think that should have been done earlier, but I'm not going to blame the manager too much for that. You can only play with the players that you've got. For Mr. B's so right about Rasmus Højlund. They call him in -9. There's times today. I mean, there's times every week when we play, I'm sighing when he does something. He can't even keep the ball. The ball goes under his feet. He's not strong enough. He's just, to me, it's like I actually feel that I could pick a player from the championship to do better than him, or just to do the basics. Yeah. Xerxes come on the pitch. You know me, I like Xerxes as a player. Yeah. And instantly, the first 1-2 touch thing, we just need that fluency to open teams up. We talked on the eye test. This is a great channel for football. And I think bath time, respect you, because we talk in the eye test, we go into sort of detail about how to break down a block. And Spurs were, with their deficiencies they had with the players out, they was rigid in what they did, and they did that really well. It wasn't the most attractive thing, but it was an exercise of how to break a block today. And I just felt that we weren't fluent enough, we weren't moving the ball enough, and it got to the point where I felt like I'm a vibes man. I'm an empath. I say this as I'm great. I know I'm great, and I know who I am. I watched Ahmad. Not saying I'm not. No, this isn't a diss at Ahmad. I watched him today, and I felt he couldn't get any change out of Doggy.
And Richarlison.
Yeah, it couldn't because of the physicality, and I felt that zapped some sort of confidence out of him. So he kept popping off the ball. That's fine. But it got to the point where you talk about 2 lines when Maz and he was standing in Maz's space and didn't offer anything, didn't offer any angles. When you see Saka, who's ideal in that position, playing, he comes off the line, offers different positions to pick up the ball and go. I just felt that psychological thing with the physicality of the left back and Richarlison, he realised, I can't go. And it's like, there's no shame in going and giving the ball away, but just do something, mix it up. And so I just felt his confidence went, and he was our shining light. He was the spark that we had in the game as well. I just want to know that we love each other on this channel, but I can't find any fault with Luke Shaw, especially with the goal. I don't think that was directly his fault. And his play, I thought, when I saw him in the team sheet, I thought, okay, balance. He can control the play. His first touch, he give us, I didn't see. He's not the first player I would be criticising.
Yeah, the reason why.
I'd like to know. I would like maybe later on or backstage. I'd like to know the reasons, justification why you're saying this. Is it because of the goal? Because
I mean, he does.
You mentioned something about passes or whatever, and I'm thinking centre back. So I'm a bit. I think there's sometimes an agenda about it's easy now because we're so upset to blame players that always get the stick. And I think Luke Shaw being fair, I think he had a good performance. Not great performance, but he wasn't the worst player out there. And I'm just interested to know what it is you guys have seen that I didn't today.
But for me, but it's I was like so frustrated with this game for a lot of reasons. One was the quality of set pieces. They were dreadful tonight. The other was, you said that Ahmad was like a shining light. He didn't produce anything of consequence because the ball going into the box wasn't good enough. All right, fair enough. You might blame that on Rasmus or whatever. But I saw Harry Maguire do a dribble the other week and put a decent ball in. And I didn't see anything any quality getting into the box. And I was thinking to myself at halftime that we've got to get someone to deliver proper balls into the box that give us a chance. And Luke Shaw was the person I thought that should be doing it. I'm not expecting it from Dorgu. Delo isn't fit enough. Like, it had to be Luke Shaw to exploit the wide area, and he put maybe one ball into the box. I was really disappointed because he is an extremely good technician. You can argue about lots of other stuff, but Luke Shaw has got great ball control and is a wonderful technician of football. With the amount of ball that we had this evening, I would expect someone who scored in a European Cup final, that has been at the club for so long. I really was expecting Luke Shaw to produce something. And I know, he had a header at the end, poor header, too near the keeper. But there are players out there that I know have quality, and there are players that I know don't have quality. So I'm not looking at Patrick Dorgu to produce anything. I'm not looking at Mazraoui to produce anything. I'm looking for Luke Shaw. And this is what disappoints me, because a Man United player, and Luke Shaw has been at the club for over 10 years, they know they have to step up, and they know they have to do something, and they know they have to solve a problem. And I didn't see Luke Shaw trying to do any of that tonight. And so maybe you can say that that's unfair, that I was asking him to do something outside of his remit. But him and Bruno, for etc., I was expecting a lot more from them, just to step up, and Casemiro to step up and produce those moments. I don't know about you, Dora.
Sorry, my internet connection for some reason. Oh, it's now green, so bear with me if I get very staticky. But yeah, I agree. I think, I know people are saying, "Oh, we are digging out Ahmad." Ahmad had a poor game, but he like Bruno Fernandes, he's our captain. He's been our leader, and I know there is a lot of pressure on him because he already lost Vitole that European Cup a few years ago in the final. Everyone was pointing fingers at him. You cannot perform in huge pressure, very pressured situations. Today I felt like he was poor as well. Like when I agree with you. Like when I look at those players on the pitch, I'm looking at the guys like Maguire, Casemiro, Shaw, even Mazarui. He's not that young, right? You have Dalot came in later. You look at those players to first to perform, and to Mason Mount as well. Like to me, he was non-existent at some point. I forgot that he even played. I look at them and I expect them to create something, but the brightest spot once again in this grayness was Lenny Yoro. To me, it felt like he was the only one who wanted to win. He tried to go up the pitch. He tried to cross. He tried to carry the ball. Like no one else did it. Maybe except Alejandro Garnacho when he came in, and Amad Diallo in the first half. None of them did it. They were poor. But yeah, I'm blaming Shaw because I have a Luke Shaw agenda, right? Maybe I'm biased, maybe I am, very subjective. But to me, it felt like he was lethargic today, in my opinion. His passing was poor. Like he wasn't the only one. I think this whole team needs to learn how to cross the ball because it is shocking. In the last 15 minutes, our only goal was to push those crosses in. No one put in a decent cross in throughout the whole game. Only that one, that short chance, which Vicario saved.
Yoro and Dalot put two good balls into the box.
That is those two only crosses were actually put in throughout the 97 minutes of the game. And to me, that we are chasing a result. I'm just seeing pass, like they don't know what to do. They're not organized. They're panicking. To me, it looked like they were panicking. They are, running into lanes. They are, running into each other's lanes all the time. Like, I don't know if you noticed it, but especially in the last 15 minutes. And I know it's okay, you're chasing the result, but be like, what are you doing in the training ground to be so disorganized? Like only the center backs. And I think Harry Maguire and what's his face and Lenny Yoro knew what they needed to do. And no one put in a decent crossing. So yeah, I need to look at the experienced players. I'm massively disappointed with the likes of Shaw and Bruno, but yeah, Rasmus is not the likes of Rasmus. He's not. He just cannot play in any top 5 leagues, in my opinion. Currently, he's shocking. Maybe he can come in the Croatian league to play on freaking in the mud, so he can finally learn how to play football. But seriously, maybe some of these players need to be roughed up a bit and see and develop because this doesn't work. And we need to change something. But yeah, I'm not even sad. Like I think I got over it. Years ago I was sad. Now I'm just extremely disappointed and just frustrated with the way
like my parents.
Seriously, like I don't even want to say angry because I don't want to give them the pleasure of she's angry. No, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, and that's worse. That's fucking worse.
Well, I have to share that Mr. B isn't experimenting with carbon monoxide in his van.
Big up, you guys. I'm silent. I'm gonna listen. I'm disgusted in what I've just seen. Like Dora, to be fair, I'm not even vexed. I'm not even vexed. We've lost so much games this season. We've already lost the Spurs. This is number 4. You know, I just think future-wise, we are. I don't know. Your boy Agate didn't play. Bath time. You've been calling him shit all season. He didn't get any minutes in the final. I think that's a sign. Garnacho not starting is a 100% sign that he's gone.
Yeah.
We need 2 central midfielders. I mean, there's just so much. There's so much. We lost to Spurs. That's one of the worst finals I have ever seen. We
Yeah.
lost to
Awful.
Spurs. It's incredible, man. It is incredible. I'm
While
gonna. Yeah,
while
go
we
on.
got you,
Yeah,
Mr. B,
yeah.
Amran, I know that you were really upset about the subs as I was. Where
I
are you
don't
standing at the
understand.
moment?
Okay, so Rasmus has been playing how he's been playing all season. If you know that that's the best that he can do, give him 45 minutes
Yeah.
and make the change. You know, I would have taken him off after 2 minutes. I'll be honest. I would have done. I wouldn't. You know, as soon as he's come out, yeah. As soon as the ball's out of play, sub him so that he can say that he started. I have no interest in him as a footballer or a player at Man United. You know, but that's just me. But I think the subs were too late. We've got killers on the pitch. You saw the difference when Garnacho came on. Give him. I don't understand why they came so late. All right, fine. You've started with this team, but we say that we've got finishers on the bench. Okay, use them. But we didn't. That's the
Yeah.
confusing part. That was the confusing part. We've got players. These players are supposed to be fit to play. Xerxes didn't look unfit when he came on. He did all right. Garnacho, you know, would have been
Do
chomping
you
at
know
the bit.
this is where Amrin has lost me this evening is the Xerxes stuff, because I felt that it became very clear that Spurs had dropped into a deep block at one point, and we didn't need the pace to get in behind. Like, they were playing a final properly, they weren't committing to a high line. That's where you needed Xerxes, and I had to wait 15, 20 minutes extra for him to come on, and it seemed to be a very glaring it seemed to be so obvious. I mean, like Andrew has talked about Mainu not getting a minute. How scrappy was our midfield, and how much did we need someone who can control the ball, pass the ball, and run forward?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after seeing that Spurs didn't want to go up the pitch. They were
Because
just
he could have put him on for Casemiro. He could have put him on for
seriously.
Casemiro, no problem.
Exactly. They closed out they closed curtains at 70th minute. He started putting in center backs at 70th, 75th minute. Like, if that doesn't give you, okay, I need someone who can control the ball. I need someone who will run into space. I need someone who will be creative. Like, I know Kobe hasn't been great this season, but he could have been that impact that we needed. Garnacho, to me, as you guys said, should have started. But if he didn't start, just pull off either Ahmad or Mount off the pitch. Pull out Mount, because he has been invisible. He didn't create anything for this team. So I just don't get it. Like, and my issue is, you played 3 times this Spurs team. You know they missed 3 players, and you still don't know how to play against them. The Spurs, this is the worst finals I have ever seen in my entire life. Tomorrow is a great. When is the Champions League final? Tomorrow, right? No, when is
A
it?
week on Saturday.
Okay, I have no idea. I'm lost. Like, you will see the quality of the games there. This was absolutely horrific. It's like truly a battle of relegation teams. It really looked like that. And yeah, it's just poor prep, poor everything. It's just awful and pathetic.
What I wanted to ask about is something me and Mr. B spoke about before the game, which he's alluded to this evening, is the admissions of Garnacho and Ugarte. I felt that they were pretty damning for both players. Ugarte was the summer signing. Like, he's a £50 million player, and in our biggest match, he doesn't start. And also, I mean, to be honest, I think we're going to lose. I think Bruno will probably leave the football club after that, which some of you may like, some of you may not like. But Garnacho not starting was a big one for me, because I know he's a frustrating player, but he carries the fight, and I felt he upset Spurs more than anyone else did in the second half. So Yabba, you've been quite quiet. Why don't you tell me about the starting lineup, and if the selection was correct, and if you think we can read anything into it?
Yeah, I thought the selection was okay. We got players that come off the bench and make an impact. It's just that the fact that they didn't come on probably at the right time. Should have made the changes maybe a bit earlier because we were in control. They did sit back and tried to sort of be conservative Spurs. So we had the option with the controlling the game second half to actually bring in fresh legs on and players that can make an impact. But we didn't do it too pretty late. It's easy to say. I mean, look, after the fact, a lot of people say, "Oh, we should have played Agate." No one was saying that really at the start about not playing Agate. I like the fact that Casemiro and Bruno started, but with 5 subs, you're able to make changes. And I think as a manager, sometimes you got to just. I was thinking, is he going to take Casemiro off? Because Casemiro wasn't really doing much necessarily, but obviously he can sneak up with a goal and a set piece and that. And I was thinking, you're watching the game, you're thinking, who would I take off? And I'm thinking, right, maybe put Ahmad at right wing back, put Bruno in the 10 position, mix. You got so many options, and it's not my decision. It's the manager. That's what he's paid good money for, to make those decisions. And I just feel he has a better squad and more players to play with than Spurs. And for one, I'm disappointed because of that, we had more players to sort of have more impact than Spurs did, which meant we should have had a strategy to open them up, especially with 45 minutes in the second half, with 1-0 down going into the second half. There should have been a strategy to actually stretch them and open them. And that means, like how Spurs scored their goal with Benkintor. He made a run.
Yeah, channel run.
And someone had to track him, and that dragged someone out of position, and it opened things up. That was the turning point. And we didn't have that necessarily with Bruno and Casemiro, or even the other two, Mount and Ahmad, really making those runs on beyond. Rasmus, look, he's been there 2 seasons now. We can make a fair judgment. I don't think he's good enough to play for Man United Football Club. And even today, I was saying for a long time, look, just, let me just wait and see. He could turn up and score a goal or do something. This is the time to do it. I am officially saying here, this is my declaration. Rasmus, you're done out here, bruv. You need to go. You're not good enough for Man United Football Club. I hope we can put you on loan or sell you, because I don't want to see you next season. I can't back you anymore.
Is this the first time you've dumped a player?
Yeah, the first time I've done Rasmus, I've always said, while they're at the club and during the season, I'm going to say, look, right, let's just try to be positive about them. Season's done now. We're playing Villa at the weekend. I don't care. That's done. It means nothing. But the bottom line is, now I'm saying, this guy, especially, as Mr. B said, -9, he's killing us, gives us nothing, And I'm just surprised. How did you make pro? How did this man make pro?
Is that how bad it is?
I'm not even joking. I've seen players on Sunday League who hold up the ball better than him.
Yeah.
And we hold up the ball better than him against Romero and all the guys. Romero is a shit house. I must admit, he's a wind-up merchant and everything else. But he's big as he wins his headers. He's tough and everything else. But he's got manners. Him. Or use your experience, peel off him, do something. Create something. They ate him up. And he's just going to go there. I don't know what he's got left, and I hope they don't give him another opportunity, because he cannot be in the squad next year. You got to just bounce.
I agree.
And I know it's harsh, but I've get my mouth shut. But now I'm officially saying that guy has to bounce, get out of the club.
Anyone else?
Well, there's obviously players there is leaving, but I think players like Luke Shaw still talented. But the thing is, now we haven't won, and we're not in the Champions League. We're not got Champions League football or European football next season. The important thing now, it could be a blessing in disguise in a way that we're going to thin our squad. And
you and your positivity to Ross.
I mean, losing Spurs in a final, blessing in disguise.
It could be a blessing in disguise where we got nothing to play for, as in European football. We just got Premiership games to go for, and we just got now to go to the training field and get players that are hungry. And even if we've got 16-man squad or whatever, we should got to go with that, because we've got next season is going to be painful.
Yeah.
If we do produce what we did this season, the same kind of lackluster stuff. They got the summer, and there's no holidays for me. You get 1 or 2 days off. They got the summer to get on the training field and get their act, put their act on and start acting like Man United players and start listening to the manager and start playing football how the manager was at Sporting, to be a bit more creative and open teams up and everything else. We're about 30% of what we should be, and it's not good enough.
I mean, for me, like a lot of people are upset with the team selection tonight. I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest. I wouldn't have played Agate. I think that we needed something to come off the bench. So
God, that would have been that bad, so he wouldn't have started him.
no, I wouldn't have put Agate on. You're not like I just wouldn't have played him. He's been dreadful in the last 2 games and a liability. And also, like I know people are saying Spurs didn't create anything. If Spurs were a decent team, they'd have scored 2 or 3 times on the counter in the second half. But I felt like I'm perfectly fine starting Mount, for example. But for me, the real issue that has come out tonight in terms of the manager is you've got to change things quicker. Like it was really clear to me that Kevin Danso was their answer to Maguire going to number 9, something that they'd worked on like during the week and things, and he did well to him. Congratulations to Spurs. But I feel that like so yeah. What I'm saying is I think the team selection was okay. Like it's a team that you can put out that you can win, but the sort of solutions from the manager were nowhere near good enough. And I don't know if he's seeing Christmas, to be honest. After this, Dora, let's start with you. What do you think of those claims?
I think it's not that very far off, honestly. And I know it's a bit, I am a Debbie Downer after the final, and I have a right to be. But I mean, it's the reality. Like, how can you, after this season, get a sync out of these players? Now, we know some of them are leaving. So he will, like, Cunha is apparently done. He needs a new goalkeeper. And we need to find another one, or we need to find a goalkeeper that is going to push Onana out of the squad, right? That is good enough to be solid. Like,
or down the stairs.
Oh, see, but yeah, someone who will at least be decent Premier League goalkeeper. Like I don't, I'm not saying that we need a world class, but we need someone. I'm not asking for much, and we need another midfielder. And I mean, we discussed it multiple times. We need half of the starting 11, but Izino is going to back him. Like people are saying, oh, if we win the Europa League, we're going to get 100 million of the sponsors, blah, blah, blah. You know what's only silver lining? That because these cunts are not going to get a wage, how do you say
Increase,
it? A wage bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only silver. Like that is the only thing that is, making me feel good, right? And I know it's evil a bit, but like this is my only bright spot on tonight's game. But yeah, I don't think if he continues like this, if he doesn't address problems within his tactics strategies for the next season, I think he needs to go. And I feel sorry for him a bit. He has been brought in probably in the wrong place, in wrong place and at the wrong time. Possibly, maybe he gets out of it, but yeah, it looks dreadful currently, and I don't know how he can fix that before the preseason. Even I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure.
Mr. B, talk to me.
Give me 2 minutes. I'm just getting in my house. I'm just going to jump on my laptop.
Yeah. Yeah, but without like going crazy positive, you've heard some claims from me and Dora. Like, what do you think of them?
I understand where you're coming from. We're reasonable people. We're not going to sort of scream at each other and that. Some I agree, some I don't agree. It's hard doing a show straight after something like that, and still I should turn my TV off because I just see white Tottenham fans in white shirts and everyone celebrating. And it's really
It's
one of the lowest this is one of the lowest moments as a Man United fan for me ever. I remember, some really low moments in the past, but this one has to be up there to get to a final. Dora mentioned losing to Villarreal was, hurt her more. This one hurts more than that because at least against Villarreal, we scored a goal, took it to penalties.
Yeah.
We didn't offer anything, and this is you feel despair in a way because thinking, well, what are we doing here? How can we not offer anything? Right, in the league, we accept that, but you need to deliver. They needed to deliver today. And you talk about pressure. I was thinking about before the game. No, you've been here before. That game against Bilbao, that was pressure.
Yeah.
There's something about a final that makes everyone anxious. And I think my anxiety, like you, bath time, I think halfway through the first half, my anxiety got to me so much that I had a sixth sense that we weren't going to win today. And that was even before they scored. You mentioned something about giving the ball away or Ahmad giving the ball away. I had a similar feeling where I felt, this isn't happening. Even against Leon, I still felt, no, we're Man United, we can still do this. And that's crazy to think that, when we were 2-0 down, two goals down. But yeah, really disappointed. It's going to be really hard slog now doing the show and trying to be optimistic about anything. It's going to be doom and gloom from now on. And we need more humor. We need more, maybe we start laughing at ourselves, more so or just start to the realization that we are not the Man United force of before. And that's really been stamped in right now with tonight's result. Because that was the only thing going. If we would have won tonight, we would have said, okay, we could fall back on our pedigree. But we don't have any pedigree anymore. We're like a runt dog in a pack in a litter of dogs. That's usually we produce thoroughbreds. We're now producing runts, and this is where the state that we are at the moment. So look, we can sit here, we can talk about players, whatever. Let me just say this: my last point on the whole game and everything else, the goal. That's goal win games. The ball's come into the box. I can't remember. Obviously, Bentancur made a run. Maybe Bruno could have gone with him, stop and get the ball, whatever, and stop. But that could have been stopped. But once the ball's come in, Luke Shaw, this is why I don't criticize him, was telling, how can you communicate so well and telling Dorgu, bruv, man's there, pointing at him, actually time to turn and concentrate on the ball over there, point and concentrate and babysit this guy and say, bruv, that's your man. Make sure you stick with him. So that way you can concentrate on what's coming over. And then suddenly you're thinking that's being dealt with by Dorgu. Dorgu's clearly switched off, let the guy get in between them and run across them. Where they must have worked on this because this is how Brendan Johnson gets a lot of his goals and get in front of Shaw. And there's nothing to do with Shaw there. Shaw was, I'm a defender. I'm a centre back. Organised, talk your way through the game. And you can't blame for others failing. He's told him. If he never told him, I would say, boy, but you're a footballer, you're a pro footballer, 20 years old, I don't give a damn. You played more hours, more minutes than anyone else, than most. You should be experienced now. Especially you should know what to do in that situation. The way he allowed that man, Brendan Johnson, to get across him must have pissed Shaw off big time. Maguire gets a bly, Shaw gets a bly, but what's his name, Dorgu, for being told to do it and not do it, that's disgraceful. And then for Onana just to be standing there like that, and he's like, you're standing there, the ball's just landing just right there, and he's tried. I mean, come on, man. I've been Onana for a while, as in because he's been at the club and he's our goalkeeper. But all right, like I said with Rasmus Hojlund as well, Onana. I mean, that was just like, come on, man, you got to save that shit. You got to say, and I know you call him Papadon hands or all kind of thing, but Dorgu, Onana, Dorgu's obviously just signed him. I can forgive him, but that was out of order what he did there by letting him just switching off. But Onana has made so many mistakes, and to allow that goal to go in, it's not like it's been pumped in or blasted in. It's trickled in. You're standing there. Where's your reaction? Don't they do these balls, these little, what kind of drills they do for goalkeepers to make them get up and react?
Saves a couple of penalties, and we get this.
Man,
I mean, for me, but I think the first fault in that goal is Bruno Fernandes because he gave a stupid pass. He gave the ball away twice before it went in. Mazraoui doesn't close it down, and this is where we might disagree. I felt that Shaw and Maguire should have taken more agency in that situation. I know that they're doing the basics, as it were. But I think that they could have solved a problem there. I agree with you. Dorgu is dreadful on that goal. Like he, I remember there was a moment in the first half where like everyone shouted at him because he like knocked it out for a corner off his chest and stuff. And it all, for me, it all came from that moment where Anana didn't come out to get the ball from Yoro. Like you could just see how they just don't trust they don't trust anyone. And Maguire trusted Anana to come and get that ball. It's like he just pinned his man, wouldn't let him go, thought someone else would deal with it. Shaw was like, Dorgu, you've got to deal with it. No one dealt with it. And that's kind of what upsets me, because I think in those moments, in finals and where things are dramatically important, you deal with it. Like, I think that you're a commanding centre back. You love talking, but you also love heading the ball and defending. In short, if you were Shaw, I think that you try and take control of that situation.
Yeah, but by communicating,
okay.
There's a situation you can see they're about to cross the ball. In that situation, you communicate. Are we set up? You have a little look, scan. All right, you're behind me. You watch that man. And so that means when he was pointing at him, I don't know what he said in words, but he should have been basically saying to him, that's your man. I'm now going to turn that way and face the ball coming in. Can you deal with that, please? But he didn't.
It's the fact he did it twice that like makes me kind of agree with you. Like,
and also you talk about like confidence and why we despair. Like, I know he's 20 years old. I'm not trashing Dorgu, but like you said, you gave two examples there when the ball came across the box, and Luke Shaw also said to him, time, which meant don't play it out. You had time. So Luke Shaw, for me, communicates well, and that's what you need to do in the back four. I don't care how slow
just
you are,
talk. Just
but that's
your part of responsibility,
right? No matter how good you are, this is why defenders can play into their late 30s and stroll through the game just through talking. Organization. That's what he done really well. So
and not running it and taking responsibility for your own actions. No, delegating.
Where is he not taking?
All right, Miss B, talk to me about the where you kind of like lay blame on the goal. We'll take Anana and Bruno out of it and Mazraoui and talk about the three defenders that are in the box.
I just remember seeing Anana flapping and cussing at Anana. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a replay, so I can't even say it was that. When I was vexed with Anana. I was, rightly or wrongly. You know, my hatred for him is a very high level. So whatever he does, I'm gonna blame him. Right? Was it Anana's fault for the goal? You know,
he's a massive part of it. Massive part.
Yeah, well, there you go then. It's got nothing. Whether the back three were in the right positions or not. You know, we spoke about the lack of trust. There's none that they have with him. So I will always blame him. Like I will always blame -9. Then, you know.
Can I just address the comments as well? Because look,
Luke
Shaw was rubbish. Luke Shaw points the finger at Dorgu all game. I mean, come on, man. I'm not going to disrespect people in the comments, but that is a bad take. You know, make justifications. I've just explained to you what happened in that situation from my end and how he's communicating. What more can he do? What more can Luke Shaw do?
Well, the difference is
set things up. There's a situation occurring. You set things up like, are we in position? Are we managing? You got this guy, and he shouldn't have to do that to turn around away from playing. Actually, but he's done that because he doesn't have confidence in Anana or Dorgu. So that's why he's had to do that, to talk to him, say, bruv, you're right there. You got him, yeah. He must have just acknowledged it. Turn back. Let's deal with this cross. The cross has come over, and suddenly this guy's running in front of you, and you're thinking, well, I can't see him because I've given that responsibility to someone else. So I don't see why people are saying Luke Shaw's poor or whatever. He wasn't responsible for the goal, and he didn't do anything particularly wrong during the game, in my opinion. The back three, they went about their business okay. A couple sort of misplaced or a bit shaky stuff, but that's to do with lack of confidence with Anana and with Dorgu and with Maz as well, because I think Maz was a bit. You need to, like I said yesterday, you need to, in the final, you need to sort of push it beyond the level that you usually do.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're just playing the same basic both concentrate, instructions, like get the ball, nothing on, play it back, try a pass. Don't rely, let's only let Bruno do the key pass or only let Maguire do the key pass. You guys were talking about Euro earlier. Sorry, I'm not going to go anywhere, but just it's the way I'm talking, my tone sounds a bit off. But you guys were talking about you guys were talking about Euro earlier. But I know Euro can ping a pass. But there's a couple of times we had the opportunity to do it, but he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to fail.
Well, I think actually, Yabba, you've been a bit unfair there because Pedro Porro all match was well ahead of our players for that pass. He like whenever we tried to crossfield pass, Porro was nicking it. Like I think that it was a result of Spurs working on it that did it. But just two things. First thing is remember people like Tyrone can't respond as quickly as you can. Do you think if Luke Shaw was a centre back, he would have dealt with that? Or he would have dealt with that differently because he's been a left back basically all his career, and he's been a centre back for, let's say 15 games at most.
No, because he's done. It doesn't matter if you're centre back or striker. He's looked, he's observed, scanned situation. Ball's probably going to be coming over. Have you got your man? Turn around. Yeah, you good. And then he's gone to deal with the ball or whatever. And then suddenly the guy that you expect, you've requested, is looked after. Is not looked after. He's suddenly in your zone, and it hasn't. There's no probably call or anything like that. And the guy should have come with him, or Dorgu should have come with him. So it's nothing to do with Luke Shaw playing left back or anything. Luke Shaw has played centre back under Ten Hag and played pretty well, remarkably. And he's been, he's come back at the end of the season, and I'm really pleased he did. And I was really pleased he started because he gives you that great, like you said, great composure, great touch, great control when bringing the ball out. So I'm pleased he played. I don't think he wasn't exceptional, but he certainly wasn't. Shouldn't be getting called out the way he is. I just feel that's once again fans just jumping on people. They feel they can always cuss. Because he's been injured a lot.
Yeah, look, I like Luke Shaw.
Judge it by the performance and judge it by what we've seen today.
I like Luke Shaw. I expected more from him. But Dave P, let me know how you're finding Last of Us season 2 on the telly. Has said that defense isn't actually the big concern. We should be more focused on attack. Dora, do you this team's bereft of confidence? We don't score a lot of goals. What was going on in attack tonight? What needs to change? Talk to me.
I just feel like, and I get it, right? We are trying to stretch the defense. We are trying to find runners. If we try to cross it, we are looking for the other guy just running into the box. That obviously doesn't work right today because they were very compact. They knew that is if we notice this, of course, Ange Postecoglou is going to scout that, and his trainers and coaches are going to see that is the way we play throughout the whole season. So you need to find alternatives, right? Okay, spam crosses into the box. Okay, but where is the... Okay, they tried to overlap. It didn't work because they couldn't cross. So what to do? I haven't seen one good... I haven't seen one... I think Euro only shot outside of the box, and that was at the end of the game. None of them... it looks like they are trying to walk with the ball in the goal. They didn't try anything creative, in my opinion. They didn't go over the top, try to catch them off the guard because they couldn't. Because of course Spurs were, they were very deep. They weren't playing suicidal football. My issue is as well when they are under pressure, they're panicking. I haven't seen an organized attacking possession from United in the last 15-20 minutes at all. It was panicky. They send it to Ahmad. Ahmad gets doubled up. He gets it back to Mazrui. Mazrui gets it back to Euro. Euro puts it to Casemiro or Bruno, who is dropping deep so he can find someone. And it's the same cycle. It's a cursed cycle with United.
Do you think so? Because for me, what was shocking to me is that we all know on this channel, we talk about our standard goal. which is that Rasmus runs ahead and
Mhm.
they pull it back. And at
Mhm.
no point did we try that this evening. And
No, yeah.
that is why I was so frustrated with Ahmad. Like, I know he looked good and he did a lot of stuff that was nice in the first half, but we know the goal that we tend to score, and he wasn't putting the ball into that area. And I was frustrated, Dora. Talk to me.
Besides Bruno Fernandes, who was there at the edge of the box? Everyone was trying to get into the box. Mount was on the other side because he is a left number 10, right? He wasn't on the edge of the box to try to shoot the ball. Bruno was, in my opinion, I think Postecoglou did a basic instruction to his players, to his midfield. Close Bruno off. Don't let him try to run into the box. And that happened. Like, I haven't seen one good, except that miss with his header, where I think someone passed it to him. I'm not sure who, but where he missed the header.
It was Vicario.
What?
No, there was a pattern of play where you're
no,
right.
no. Before that, yeah. There
Was
was
it where Ahmad put a ball in and Rasmus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like that was the only time where I've seen Bruno Fernandes go, okay, we are doing it right. He is, between the lines. He's in the space. They did a good job by closing him off. Sar, Bentancur, even Bissouma. They did a great job there. But find alternatives. Why are you just headlessly going into that box and just wait for the cross? Run. Like Mason Mount is praised as the one, without the ball, blah blah. What did he do? Like, where was he running today? I haven't seen it. Try to find the space. And I know, like, if this guy is marking you all the time, in this case was Pedro Porro, like, Dorgo, tell your left back or wing back or center midfielder, just try to run into the space. I'm dragging a player out of the line. Do something, exploit those spaces. But to me, it felt like we were just toothless. And if that extra time, injury time, lasts for 20 minutes, we wouldn't score. And that's my issue with this team. We are toothless, we are clueless when we don't have our go-to, we are passing to the edge of the box for Bruno Fernandes to score 20th goal of the season. Well, he was closed up. Where is the alternative? There isn't one. And even when we had a chance with our strikers, they don't score.
Yeah.
So what to do? Like, I agree with the comment. Attacking is a glaring issue, and Amorim needs to find alternatives. You cannot spam one cross like in FIFA. Go to the winger, press square or X, or to the edge of the box, or a triangle, so it can go a bit up front of him, so he can shoot the ball better. Like, you need to find alternatives, not just spam crosses for 30 minutes and only two of them actually finding their target, and of course they miss. This needs to be studied. This needs to be studied in the footballing academy on how not to attack. Because we're 16th. We lost to the team in the Europa League final who hasn't won anything for 17 years. They were like, we are now a banter club. Leave Arsenal, leave those, like, they are miles above us, miles in front of us. We are a banter club, and it's a shame. And he needs to work on it this summer, because this is like, we are going to be in relegation battle if we continue like this.
Mr. B, the quality of that attack in play, without just putting it all on Rasmus, what was the issue this evening?
Just the same issue we've had all season. We don't create enough chances. A question. Ahmad played out on the wide right.
Yeah.
Why didn't they play him as a wing back if that was the case? If that was the position that he took up? Just because we didn't. I'm assuming, in my mind, I've got number 10 saying centrally, and maybe drifting out there, not starting out there, and maybe trying to cut back in. So I was a bit confused as to why we didn't have two players behind Rasmus in that position. And also,
the fact that he played Bruno and Casemiro how often have we played that this season with Mount started? You know, I think he experiment today? It just felt. I understand you try and do things and you're in there training and you've got an idea of what you want to be done. I know you don't like Agate, but you know what you're going to get with him. Were we sure what we were going to get with Mount playing as the number 10? I don't have a problem Mount starting the game. It's just that I would have made the subs a lot earlier. Mount's football IQ is a lot higher than Garnacho's. So I understand that maybe Amorim wanted more technical players, but there was nobody centrally to receive the ball, to be feeding Rasmus. All right, maybe that was a tactic. They just weren't going to feed him anyway. But the system, how it was played today, just seemed really, really weird.
Well, I think okay, so Ahmad was getting the ball in wide areas, which to me means that the ball should have been coming in from the half space, which would have been from Casemiro, Mazraoui, or Bruno. So he would take two players, like the plan to get doubled up on. Great, you know, if you leave Ahmad 1v1 with someone,
he'll kill you.
He'll kill him and stuff like that. So we knew they were going to double up, and I think the idea is that we would clear that half space, knock it back to Bruno coming in. He would hit it to the back post, and that is why Mount was so up in the attack, as it were. That's a perfectly good plan on paper. Ahmad didn't do it, and Mount didn't kind of adjust to it. Fine, change them. We've seen Casemiro as a brilliant crosser from that position. We've seen Bruno is great from that position. I felt that as I told you at halftime, the quality of ball into the box was dreadful all night. Set pieces, crosses, everything. We put three decent balls into the box, one from Yoro that no one attacked, one to Shaw where he should have done better, and then we had that ridiculous Air Casemiro moment at the end where he tried an overhead kick. I think that Amorim, my issue tonight, Mr. B, is I could see what the game plan was. Perfectly fine. They didn't carry it out. It happens in a football match. You've got to make the changes. And the change should have been Garnacho coming on earlier and trying to score our standard goal. That's what I felt. And so I'm really annoyed with the players and with the manager, because tonight it's a disgraceful performance. I think it's worse than Villarreal, to be honest. Because as Yaba said, we scored in that match. We went to penalties. We could have played until the heat death of the universe and not scored tonight. I'm just unhappy. Dora.
Can I just add on? It feels like this formation that Amorim plays, it works against teams that are sitting higher up the pitch. It doesn't work for teams that are sitting deeper. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, but most of the Premier League players are, or teams are, now." I would say they are more attacking because they have so much Spanish influence and influences from other teams or from Pep, I would say. But you need to consider, right? If these guys played their usual tactic, we would have far more better chances, far more space, right? This wasn't the case today. They were much deeper. They were more pragmatic. They knew, their gameplay was not even to attack. They tried to exploit our mistakes. We give them a goal. They just wanted to defend well and close out Bruno and the runners, right? And they did it perfectly well. When they stopped those first few chances from Ahmad, they knew, okay, they don't have an answer for us. So it feels like this formation that Amorim is trying to play, that he played in Portugal, where, all due respect to Portugal, Portuguese league, they are mostly expensive. They are playing quite high, especially the better teams, right? Of course, there are some teams are playing with 11 players behind the ball, against stronger teams. But in most cases, especially in these huge matches, you see, all out attack, beautiful football, blah, blah, blah. But it's not that deep, right? It's not physical like the Premier League. Hence why, like, Spurs are a Premier League team. Of course, they knew from the beginning on how to play against us. And I feel like Amorim and his coaching staff need to find alternatives.
Can I defend him slightly on this, Dora?
Okay.
What he would have had at Sporting was two things. He'd have had an out ball in Gyökeres, which we don't have in Rasmus or Xerxes.
Yeah.
Like, Xerxes obviously can drop into pockets, and he did 2 or 3 things that were all right tonight, and it boosts him wildly over Rasmus. But Rasmus isn't going to do that. But so if you're trying to get a team to leave space in behind, you've got to play out from the back. And we didn't even bother tonight to try and play out from the back once.
We were very scared. Very scared. Yeah.
And I do have some sympathy for him on that, because with Onana and with Rasmus, you don't have the tools to compete in the Premier League, in my opinion. But you've got to find a solution. And I'll give you an example. Put Luke Shaw in Ahmad's position for the last 10 minutes, because he's the best crosser of the football that we've got. Or put Eriksson on at right centre-back so that he can swing that ball in from the half space. Like, if you're going to be enslaved to this 3-4-2-1 or whatever, you've got to get players that can produce in the kind of creative situations. And
Sorry. You said Eriksson at where?
Right centre-back.
In less than minutes.
Yeah. So the last 10 minutes.
Sorry. Right. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So right, like a throw of the dice. So when Ahmad has got people doubling up on him, I don't know why he wanted this, but he wanted like Delo and Mazraoui outside him, pass it to the half space and swing the ball in. Like, it's a much more dangerous cross. And I'm like, as much as the players, right? You can blame the Glazers, you can blame Jim Ratcliffe. The players on the pitch are the ones that are really letting everyone down. But I feel that there were solutions that could have been done in that game, and I do sympathise with Amorim, but tonight he didn't do anything really to affect the game, and it's upset me, because I think that over the course of the season you've seen him go mental. So he can't go back to breaking TVs and things. That hasn't worked. You've seen him kick Rashford and Garnacho out of the squad. That hasn't worked. You haven't seen him make great changes during a game. So does he have that in him?
Do the players have it in them? Do the players have it? I mean, look, these players have been the same level. Some have probably got worse under Amorim. To be fair,
do you think that these players are better than Solskjaer's players?
No.
So you think Casemiro and Bruno is better than McFred?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe as a pairing, no. But individually, yes.
Yeah. So should we be getting more than 7?
Yes,
I mean, yeah. How much of that is down to the manager then, getting the right stuff out on the pitch and giving them the plan?
Okay, so when he came in, we knew he was going to play 3-4-3. He hasn't changed. He hasn't deviated from it. It sounds like he's told from the press conference yesterday. He said he told them that he wasn't going to change, and they're up for it. If he's going to play this system, it's fine, but he has to work out a way of of getting an extra player into the middle of the park. He needs to work it out, because even at Saturday level, if a team plays 2 in central midfield, you expect to win the game because they've got 2 in central midfield. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's gonna do. I like Amorim. I'm just convinced that this formation in the Premier League is not going to work. I'm just convinced it's not going to work. 3-5-2 is I still don't understand why he can't make it a 3. Yeah, we don't have it. But if he's going to play 3 at the back, 2 in midfield just is not going to work in the Premier League. Half time.
I agree. All right, look. This has gone on for longer than I wanted to. We're going to have like autopsies and inquests into this for a while.
Friday's going to be so bad.
I'm not here on Friday.
The bully for you. I've set up the show with bloody them 2 bloody Spurs fans are coming on, ain't they?
Oh, I should show my face, but I want to watch McTominay win the Scudetto.
So you can look, you're doing that. And you can jump in.
I'll jump in. I'll jump in and wish.
I think I might need some protection.
Yeah, I don't think Yabba's going to be there to help. All right, look. We'll be back on Friday. I don't know about tomorrow. I'm not here next week.
We'll be back. We have to be back.
All right.
They're going to announce our summer signings tomorrow. They've got to do something to take the heat away from this. So next couple of days, the big deflection tactics are coming in.
Yeah, look. Thank you everyone for watching. I know we haven't really been reading your comments out, but this has been a sort of like a grieving session for all of us. I mean, like you've got Yabba turning on players. It's dark days. No. All right, so we're gonna leave it here. Thank you everyone for watching. It is a lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch, guys.
Lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch.